Episode number 235.
Clients are not willing to be, I guess, held captive like they were a couple months ago of, I got a body, I'm happy because of the workforce was so tight. It is a competitive workforce now.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. Folks, I'm fired up today. And after this show, I think you're going to be seeking out a little more profit in your business because we are pumped to bring you our featured guest today, Thor Conklin. Thor, are you ready to be real?
Ready to be real.
He's bringing the fuego, folks. My man Thor is the entrepreneur, speaker, author, as well as the business owner, folks. And he is helping you find more profit. He is a profitability consultant. He helps do a lot of different types of things from workshops to one-on-ones. But bottom line, folks, is if you aren't profitable, especially going into this pandemic, you're going to have a hell of a time being profitable outside this pandemic. Or maybe you won't. Maybe there's ways we can do it. So pleasure to have you on the show today, folks. He also has a podcast, the Peak Performers podcast. And so check that out. But how's your day going today, Thor?
Man, fantastic. Now that I'm speaking with you, man.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. The fuego, let's go. So getting into profit, because as we just talked about, I mean, you got huge companies, even, Uber and Lyft and some of these huge companies are just burning money, not really profitable yet. And so obviously there's a strategy to that. But as most of us out there that are in business know, you got to make profit. You got to find ways to make money, not only make money, but profit, because without that, you're not going to survive. Is that correct?
Absolutely, man. There's only one reason why a business goes out of business, and that is they run out of cash.
Right.
Period.
So when you were starting your business, when you first were thinking about this industry as far as profitability, because I think it's such a unique niche, or if you want to call it in the world of business services, that one stands out to me because at the end of the day, like we just said, I mean, you got to make money to stay alive. And so where's the big concern right now? I mean, I know probably sales, but right now, what are the big questions that business owners have for you?
Yeah, well, actually, I want to tell you just a quick story because you asked the question there, and it was, how'd you get into profitability consulting? So I've been an entrepreneur for the last 21 years, and after several successful exits from some businesses that I started, I decided to go out and buy a business. And I decided to buy something that I knew nothing about. I took about 6 months off. I looked at probably 400 or 500 different companies, found one that I really liked, loved the financials, thought it was a really nice little niche. And I like niche versus niche because niche rhymes with rich.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what that niche is, baby. So I bought a business, manufacturing company. It was in the nail salon industry. Later found out that the financials were completely bogus. I bought the company in late 2008, just as we were going through the last recession.
Wow.
Long story short, I spent 7 years trying to figure out how to turn a profit, how to salvage that company. Eventually, that company had to be dissolved. I had to divest myself of it, lost just under $1 million in cash in that business.
Wow.
And I was at this point where I just gone through a divorce. My business had failed. I'd never had a failed business. I had 5 successful exits. It wasn't supposed to happen on number 6. That shit's supposed to happen on number 1. And I found myself asking, what do I do now? So I said, well, wait, the one thing I couldn't figure out what to do is how to make a profit. So I should become a profitability coach. And the first part of my content is going to be, I did these stupid things, don't do those. So I said, at the very least, I'll have experience of what not to do. So that's literally the story of how I created a profitability consulting firm.
That's amazing too, because at the end of the day, you did it through your own failure. Let's just be real. You said, you lost $1 million at some point, and that's going to happen, folks, if you take risk. If you've had great exits like you have, which is a blessing.
Yep.
But the most important thing is it doesn't always happen again. You can't, like you said, you finally hit the cold streak. As all of us entrepreneurs know, a lot of times we think things are going to go for good forever, but then sometimes they don't. And so you got to seek out that money, baby. And so getting into profitability, Because I think that's a really fine line, because I know companies like Amazon never are profitable, but at the end of the day, they're Amazon, so it's a funny thing. But at the end of the day, when you're talking a small business owner, medium-sized business, you got to make profits. You got to find ways to make money, but also make more than you spend, because during times like these, we need cash. We need cash reserves. You need to have some liquid assets. You need to have, hopefully some money in the bank, obviously, or in other places that are more liquid forms. Obviously, stocks, crypto, maybe possibly a savings account, high yield savings account. Because right now, if businesses are having a tough time getting the PPP loans and they're having a tough time getting their economic loans, then you're going to be going out of business if you don't got money, And so right now, Thor, or maybe even before this pandemic, what was some of the bigger concerns or questions that business owners were having when they come to you?
Yeah, most of them don't know how to read their financials.
Gotcha.
So if you don't know how to read the financials, it's like flying a plane and not understanding what the instruments mean in front of you.
Right.
Fundamental, you've got to understand what they mean, what cash flows look like, and you need to be able to manage that and pull the triggers and adjust the dials so you can get to the point where you maximize profitability. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see with most business owners is, I'll call it, they pimp their ride. They go out and they've got the nice office.
Yes.
They've got more employees than they need. Everything is about the show, about how am I going to be perceived by the marketplace. I have a client that does, well, at the time they were doing about $200 million in revenue. Profits were ridiculous. They operated it out of a house.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. They could have afforded to get in, they could have bought a building,
right,
an office building, if they wanted to with their profitability levels. But they saw it as, we don't need that. We don't need to pimp our ride. We don't need to pimp our business. Look, at the end of the day, it's about, and there's a difference between profit and how much cash comes out of the business. Those aren't always the same. They could be, but they're not always. But it's about, what do you put in your pocket at the end of the day? And unfortunately, most entrepreneurs, they pay all the expenses, and then what's left is what they take. I actually want to reverse that model. And what I want you to concentrate on is your pot. Okay? Your profit, owner compensation, and taxes. Okay? Work on those. Pay your taxes, the owner compensation, and focus on the profit. Get the money that goes in your pocket first, and then what's ever left over from your projected profit, owner compensation, and your taxes, that's how much you run the business. You don't run the business off your sales and then pay the taxes and the owner compensation after everything is paid. You take that money first, and it forces you to manage your business with less money. And guess what? You make it happen.
More profit too. You can make it happen with less. That's
Absolutely.
The thing we're probably all finding out that right now, because we're not able to go places and things like that. And we're all maybe now having a little extra money in our pockets because we're not traveling. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are, God bless them, because it's a tough struggle, but gamblers and people that like go to the nightclubs and all these things. They should be getting hundreds of thousands of dollars back in their pocket the last 2 months because they haven't been able to blow it. If you never know, they might be buying scratchers or something. But the point is, we're all probably in different ways finding a little bit of money back in our pockets right now. In different ways, because we're not able to do this. We're not able to go out to the restaurants or something. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people struggling, so we don't want to take away from that. But it's very important what you said, the pot, folks. Profitability, the ownership, your cuts, your wages,
owner compensation,
your distribution, however you're paying yourself. And then lastly, taxes, folks, because those things are so important. I think the last two things, like you said, tend to not happen, meaning you forget about paying yourself and you forget about your taxes last, and then you're spending, you're expensing, you're doing all your things, you're growing, you're doing this and that based on your sales numbers, not what the end of the day you're making. And so, and you hear that all the time. You hear that all the time, especially like one of my favorite shows, Shark Tank, is, they'll be talking, oh, we made $500,000. Have you paid yourself? No, we haven't paid ourselves. So it's not really equivalent, right? Until you start paying yourself, figuring out what the taxes are, and then spending after what you've had after that, right? Spending off of your profit.
Yep. New entrepreneurs talk about sales. My wealthy clients talk about profit margin and profitability.
Got you. Profit margin, baby. What are the other areas that business owners are not able to understand when they're looking at their financial statement?
The real difference is a financial statement is usually created to help bookkeepers figure out where those numbers go into a tax return. That's what they're designed for.
Absolutely.
What you need is you need to understand it yourself and learn and understand how to pick those numbers out, or have an advisor, a tax strategist that can help you decipher the numbers so you use them to run the business. When you're looking at financials, you should be looking at not just the numbers, but you should be looking at them sequentially over month, year over year, and looking at the percentages. Are those things going up? Are your revenues climbing slower than your expenses? Are there expenses that are climbing faster than the other expenses? Right. Which ones can be eliminated? So it's it's not just something that you look at the end of the month and go, oh, great, I made this much profit, or I didn't have that much profit. The question is, how did you get there? And then what dials can you change? Well, I can't tell you, I probably have 50% of my clients dumping their corporate offices. And I've got some clients that have some big corporate offices. They're like, this work at home thing actually works.
Right.
Our people have been productive. I've got one company ditched their entire corporate office beautiful office in Nashville, Tennessee. They're buying everyone stand-up desks that are, move. They're buying everyone VR goggles. They're buying everybody gym memberships because they're like, how much money that we're saving on our office space?
Right.
We are going to pimp out their home offices.
Gotcha.
And we're going to give them all the tools that they need so they can be productive at home.
And I think
they're saving money.
They're saving money. And the thing that people don't realize, because we started our business 11 years ago, when we first started, many of our clients, oh, you don't have an office space. Oh, you don't have an office. Why don't you have an office? Why don't you have a big office for all your team to sit there and come see? We want to come see you.
Right. 11 years ago, different.
11 years ago, baby. And I said, you know what? We're not going to do an office, folks. We're going to be a horizontal business model. We're going to do something where people are working from home when they want to work, where they want to work, at the times they want to work, in the outfit that they want to work. They could be watching their kids. They can be watching TV. They could be doing other things. But truthfully, like you just said, people still work. People still get things done. And the best thing is, I think, is you're not paying. You're really eliminating a lot of the BS, water cooler time, people browsing shit on their own. I mean, it's like, people working from home, they're going to put in the work. They want to get their hours done, and then they can be with their family. They can go to the gym. They can have a more healthy, well-rounded life. And God forbid, anyone that's been spending 1 to 2 hours a day traveling back and forth to work in our beautiful California traffic, and so just think about that. I mean, just the time spent in traffic you're going to save too.
And Travis, the other thing is if you have an office located in downtown Los Angeles, you have to choose from the workforce in and around Los Angeles.
Right.
When you're virtual, you can have people. We just closed an acquisition for a client in South Africa.
Yeah.
Do you know that South Africans, English is unbelievable. It's better than us.
Right. That's more formal. Yeah. Right.
Right. And a top programmer in South Africa is $11,000 a year.
Wow.
Top programmer.
Wow.
That'll cost you here $125.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky, exactly. So
That's
what you
crazy.
do is you not only do you save the office space, not only do you give the employees more flexibility, you also now tap into the talent that is around the world.
Right. That's key. My man just gave you guys a layup. He just gave you guys a layup. A three-pointer is now, folks, aren't just stuck with the people around you. You're not just stuck with the best people out here in Fresno, California. You can tap anybody in the world to help work for you virtually at different times. And one of my favorite things about having people work at different times and different time zones and things like that is work gets done at different times. I mean, some people like to wake up early and work. Some people are working in the middle of the night getting things done. But the workflow is happening at different times. And what we've seen is, you can get a whole lot more done by having all these different kind of silos. And one of the number one things my dad would always tell me, he still did on our walk 2 days ago, I think it was, he's got a pretty decent size accounting practice, 20 or so team members and big office and nice space, and had a lot of blessings in his life. Hardworking guy. But he always says, I go into the office, I can't get anything done. And so it's just you get interrupted, you get this and that. There's this. I mean, he comes into the office with the mindset, I'm going to get this big tax return done. He gets there. This person needs this. Oh, I need you to sign this. Oh, this person just called, and he's constantly been bombarded. Now, I've talked to him about, hey, your interruptions and notifications and pings and dings and, but that's a whole nother topic. But still, the truth is you can get a lot done when you're at your own silo in your own world. And I remember when this pandemic first hit, I told my dad on one of our walks is the commercial real estate business is going to get whacked.
It is going to get whacked, man.
And people are going to find that just like what you do, you're going to be able to cut a rent payment out of, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 a month and instantly become more profitable and instantly have happier workforce, because that is what they say now is the biggest number one most important thing for business owners is to have a happy workforce.
Yep.
Absolutely. Where they're not complaining, they're not bitching, they're not causing mutiny. They're happy. They show up to work, they do the job, they're happy. So it's amazing how in 60 days now, almost 70 days, we've completely changed.
I've been saying, Travis, for years that the idea of an open work office environment where it's kind of an open platform where you don't have offices and everyone's on top of each other.
Right.
I've always said that is the worst thing for productivity ever.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
Right.
And we're starting to prove it.
Yep. Yeah, the business owners are always afraid, folks, that people are going to play around and go do video games and shit while they're away. No, they've been doing that at your office. Don't forget, they've been watching Facebook and YouTube. Or when I used to work at Disney Company, I would just be seeing the same ladies. They'd have a routine. It was like they'd meet up here and they'd BS for 20, 30 minutes and they'd be doing something else here 20, 30 minutes. It's
coffee break, cigarette break.
Oh, dude, yes. Yeah. And then next thing you know, it's someone's birthday. We got to celebrate. And they were just doing everything possible to get away from work. And
you know what most of my clients are doing, Travis, is they're using the software that's on the market now that takes screen captures of the employee's computer, and they make it very clear. They're like, "Look, we're going to shift to work at home, but here's the deal: you get a computer, and on this computer, there is software. We're letting you know, so you be very careful what you use this computer for.
Right?
And it's going to take screenshots." And if you're fooling around and you're not getting your work done, we're going to know about it.
Right.
And that's not going to be a long-term fit for us. So we are going to extend this benefit. We expect you to be responsible A players. And that's the other thing that's really shifting. If you're a B player, and either from an attitude standpoint or from a skill standpoint, you're being exposed very quickly. And clients are looking at the D players are easy, right? Low attitude, low skill. They're immediately gone. The C players have great skills, but they have bad attitudes. Sometimes we put up with them too long. But the B player, they're really forcing the B players to step up their game. If not, they're laying them off, and they're going into the marketplace of the 36 million people that have been laid off, because there's some great people out there, and they're picking up A players. Clients are not willing to be, I guess, held captive like they were a couple months ago of, I got a body, I'm happy, because of the workforce was so tight. It is a competitive workforce now.
That's a really good point. It's a really, really good point. Those that are listening, and if you're looking for team members, just remember that we've now got like 38, 40 million, maybe 50 million. Who knows how many at the end.
And around the world.
Yeah, and around the world. Oh, my God.
Italy, unemployed.
Right. Oh, my God.
France. Yeah. It's around the world.
And these people are hungry. They want opportunities. There's a great opportunity for them to provide work for you. And you can do it if you've developed a system where you're working at home. You can do it anywhere. And so there's just no excuse at this point, folks, because we are going through probably the craziest time we've ever seen in our lifetimes. I know I talked to my grandma who's 92 years old. She says craziest time she's ever seen. And so the point is, this is the time to lean in. This is the time to pivot. And I think the most important, folks, is that this is the time to look at all your expenses, look at everything that you are spending your money on, and really try to lean up your organization, right? Like, if you don't need it, you don't need it. Like I literally made a call yesterday on a $687 or $690 product a month that's going to instantly make us $7,000 more profitable this next year, and I didn't want to make the email, but within one stroke, I just became $7,000 more profitable. Now I can use that money for team. I can keep it in the bank a little bit to make sure that we, withstand these hits that we're taking here in the advertising business. But the truth is, once business gets back to normal, we'll be stronger than ever. There'll be new advertisers, there'll be new businesses trying to be more, aggressive to get business, because I think it's going to be harder once we open. As you're experiencing, I don't think people are going to just necessarily run right into your business. So I think you're going to be needing market. Yeah. You're going to need to be telling your story and why it makes you different, and offers and promotions and sanitization too. Like, what are you doing to sanitize this place? And I think those are the key things that, but I truly believe this is that businesses are going to instantly become more profitable because they're going to cut rent out. That's like one of the biggest expenses, they say. I mean, I saw one article recently. A fintech company said they're letting all their employees know, you all are going to stay at home, and we're going to be $10 million more profitable and similar stuff. We're giving you more benefits. We're giving you more other stuff. Healthcare, I think this company was doing, or some other stuff to with the money, with the $10 million bucks.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating.
And a note on that, Travis, we're recording this on the 22nd of May. I don't know when this will come out, but yes. I want everyone listening to this to hear me. Just because we get past the lockdown, and whenever this launches, I don't know what phase we'll be in. Be careful of thinking that we've gotten through everything that we need to get through, because there's a tail, there's a laggard happening. I predict that residential real estate will probably bottom out in September of 2021.
Wow.
So, because what's happening right now, all the forbearances are in place. No one can actually even go to the court to actually do a foreclosure.
Right.
It's going to take some time to work its way through. Some people that are unemployed who aren't going to get reemployed right away are going to lose their savings and potentially lose their house, can't pay their rent, etc. These things take time. Don't think that once, there's no lockdowns and we're all back, that everything is going to be okay. There's going to be lagging indicators and lagging results that will take some time to flush through. Now, I truly believe, we're going to come out of this stronger. Businesses are going to be smarter.
Right.
And you need to find ways to not only conserve that cash, increase profitability, but to do it in a way that you reinvent yourself. Travis, for example, on the digital side, I've got a client that does quite a bit of digital. And what they've done is they've targeted all the clients out there that do trade shows. Like, all these companies have all these big trade show budgets.
Right.
They're not doing trade shows.
Right.
So let me get myself a little bit of their trade show money.
Right.
So they've actually had one of their best quarters during this pandemic.
Wow.
Because they thought, where's the money? Who needs to advertise? Who hasn't been optimizing their digital footprint,
right,
but already has the budget and may not be using it in that area?
So
become
smart.
Creative.
So smart. That is unbelievable. That's
steal it.
That's like
run with it.
Yeah, that's seriously like the head on the tip of the head's tongue right there, baby. Seriously, folks, my man is giving you guys again a 3-pointer, because be creative. Realize that there are opportunities no matter what we're going through. And this is a great one for the advertising and marketing business. The people that have been spending money on trade shows, they got their money back. They can't do the show. They're not at South by Southwest or anywhere. And they're probably not going to be for this whole year. But it's a really good point too that you made, in that this is probably a 1, 2, 3 year deal. We're not necessarily out of this thing, and really don't get too gung-ho right away either, right? It's like you always want to be a little cautious in the wind here. I told my wife, I think it's still just the tip of the iceberg. Really.
It is. And a lot of younger entrepreneurs, and I'm sure if you had a conversation with your dad would say the same thing. You get a lot of this. I'll meet with some young tech entrepreneurs, and I said, all right, so how's profits doing? Oh, we're not interested in profits.
Right.
I go, interesting.
Right.
What are we interested in?
Top line revenue.
We're looking at top line. We're looking for subscriber growth. Oh, interesting. So when the bills come due to pay rent and payroll and everything, are you going to pay that with subscriber growth?
Right.
Right. You need cash to do that. And there's this theme going around Wall Street. Cash is trash.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, you can say that when you're Amazon and you got $40 billion in the bank.
Right. And money coming in every second.
That's right. Okay. Cash is not trash. Cash is the only thing keeping the lights on because you can't pay your electric bill with accounts receivable. You can't pay it with inventory. You can't pay it with a subscription that's due in 3 months.
So true. So true. And at the end of the day, it's what's going to separate those,
the strong are going to thrive.
Yeah, it's going to separate everywhere. We call it separation season, call it, rise of the strong, the weak, will not survive. If you've been in a business model where you haven't had success going into this, it's going to kill you. If you've been busy and still haven't made a profit going into this, now you're going to be, 30 to 50% slower, most likely going forward. How the hell are you going to make it unless you do something drastic? Or think of different markets. So there's just so many different ways to think of it. I mean, I know some of my restaurant clients, they were like really panicking in the beginning, and then we figured out some strategies, and they've had some record months in sales, selling family style packages, selling much bigger orders than they normally would sell on their normal order. So it's just interesting how you got to think, you got to right now, folks, be willing to rethink everything. Be willing to literally go back to plan zero on your business plan, if you want to call it that, and scratch everything out and start over in a way, because right now we just don't know. Your business has to look a little bit different. You're going to maybe be doing stuff more online. If you don't have an online business, you got to figure out ways to get orders online. How can people buy things? Can people reserve my services online? What can they do? And then also we just talked about, there's so many talented people out there in the world, folks. So there is just unlimited on LinkedIn, Upwork. I mean, you could just go, the list is on. I'm sure there's so many people looking for jobs too. But I'm so excited for the show, man, because I think that it's also put me a little fire under my belly, man. Let's get some more profit this year, baby. Let's get some more profit.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I'm on record on my call for the residential housing market.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no pulling that off the table.
Hey, dude, that's a good one too, because me and my wife have been looking at getting into a house, and we were looking at the prices, and it's just in California, dude, they've gone through the roof, man. And
there's no inventory right now.
There's no inventory.
There'll be plenty of inventory, man.
It's I know.
Coming,
just wait. Stay that cash. Keep that cash.
Stay calm. It's coming. It's coming, brother. Just wait.
Yep. That's what I feel like. We're going to just be staying calm. I like that. September 2021, the bottom. That's hopefully when we close on our loan on our next house.
And look, and rates aren't going to go up because the Fed can't push the rates up because that would absolutely destroy the economy. They're going to have to keep rates low so you don't have that exposure.
Yeah.
And look, it's just common sense. With 36 million people out of work, are we going to have more foreclosures?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
This is not rocket science. It's just looking at cause and effect. And that's what financials are. You did something that now produced these financials. What do you need to change in order to change the numbers in the financials? But you've got to understand what they mean.
So important.
Educate yourself there.
Take the time right now, folks. This is the time that you can spend. I mean, if you aren't busy in your business, you need to get into the financials.
Yeah, there's a book by a good buddy of mine, and it's called The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
He's great. He's just an amazing human being. He's a mentor of mine, and if you want to understand financials, he breaks it down so simple. Keith Cunningham, The Road Less Stupid, and I think he has another book called The Business Blueprint. Both of those real easy reads. It breaks it down so simple. Matter of fact, my son was going to college. He was having trouble in accounting. I gave him that book. And he's like, for the first time, I actually understand accounting and financials.
Wow. Road Less Stupid. We'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
That's a fabulous, great title too. Great title on the book. But now, man, we're about to take you into our top 10. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube.
Instagram or Facebook?
Facebook.
Chicken or steak?
Steak.
Laptop or a smartphone?
Smartphone.
Spotify or Pandora?
Spotify.
Movies or video games?
No, movies.
Movies, baby. Reading books or listening to books?
Oh, listening. Why would I read when I can have somebody read a book to me for $1?
Audible, baby.
That's it, baby.
Stocks or real estate?
Stocks.
Oceans or lakes?
Oceans.
And when you wake up in the morning, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, getting ready for the day, Why do you love being you, Mr. Thor?
With a name like Thor, how could you not love it?
Dude, that is epic, man. You got to give your parents a big shout out on that. They would have never even known that how big Thor would have come, huh?
Interesting story. I was not named Thor.
Really?
I changed my name 3 years ago.
No
had
shit.
nothing to do. Yeah, had nothing to do with the character. I even, I knew nothing about the movies or the characters or anything. It started about 18 years ago.
Wow.
But here's what it is, and this is an important distinction. I found a statue by an artist called Bobby Carlyle, and she created this statue called the Self-Made Man, and it's a man carving himself out of a block of granite. He's got a hammer in one hand and a chisel in another. That statue is me. I live by the creed. What can I do today to just become a little bit better version of who I was meant to be? And if you look at that statue, that's Thor. That is who I am. That's who I started to resonate with. So be careful of the labels that you give yourself,
right,
and other people give you. You can decide to be anything or anyone that you want to, and that includes your name.
It's such a good point. And also, it's just that little work every day, folks. It's not some big boulder you got to push up today. It's these little tiny boulders, this little smaller boulder, and the next thing you know, you're ready for that big boulder to push out of the way. And
I screw up every day doing it.
Right.
I don't always succeed.
Right.
But I get up the next day, look myself in the mirror, and say, what small thing can I do today that will start to move the needle?
Such a good point. Folks, he's giving you seriously the strategy, because too many of us think of it, I got to do this everything. I got to get everything. Just do one thing. If you want to get more fit, do 10 push-ups. Get through the 10, do 10 more. You know what I mean? It's the simple things, folks, every day. And I think I found most of the time is that people have a hard time sticking to things consistently. They want to go do this and they go that and then this.
You know why?
Yeah, tell us.
Two things. One, they don't make them small, micro commitments, little teeny things where you create wins. But here's the other. 6 days a week is hard. 7 days a week is easy.
Really?
Yes. Do something for 6 days and take a day off and then get back to it on Monday or whenever you want to take that day off.
Right.
It is harder. Do it every single day and it just becomes easy.
That's a great point.
I can't explain why. I just found that in my life that 6 is hard, 7 is easy.
That's a great point. Yeah, something about maybe the day off, especially like right now, because we've had like 2 months off at the gym.
Yeah, it's that momentum, right? Once you have that momentum, it's like a merry-go-round, right? It just takes a little bit to keep it going. But if you stop, you got to put all that pressure into getting it going again.
It's like, I got to wake up at 5 a.m. again. I got to get my
right. Now, look, again, maybe you're not getting it. Let's say you want to get up to 5 a.m. Say, look, I'm going to get up to 5 a.m. Monday through Friday, but on Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to get up at 7.
Right.
So the ritual that you've created is that I set an intentional wake up time and I get to it every single day. It doesn't have to exactly the same time.
Right.
You're still doing the same thing. You're creating that muscle of perseverance and structure.
Such a good point, folks. And that is going to lead you into success in every part of your life. If you take into what he just said right there, you will have success in any part of your life, folks, because we're going to fail. We're going to have issues where we don't learn. We don't know the answers. But if you wake up, you get the small changes and you put in work, whatever that looks like, but don't just take days off, folks. Make this life. It doesn't take days off. So you shouldn't either. Do you think you'll ever retire?
No. And it's interesting. I skip to Friday, right? I don't work on Friday.
Oh, nice.
Friday is my day. It's actually, I'm going to go to the chiropractor. I get a massage. I get my hair cut.
Right.
So, but it's a ritual. That's part of my self-care day that allows me to show up on Monday morning, energized, ready, rested. So it's not about a constant go, 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 go. Have a structure to what you're doing and stick to it. That structure, that routine will create that momentum.
It's a great
point. No, to answer your question, no, you'll never see it. I'm going to be the 90-year-old guy, in a college town, like buying shots for everybody, and then doing consulting on the side. Yeah,
I love that. That.
Why would I want to retire? I'm having too much fun. You
know what? You lose the synapses, and I think there's definitely something to work. Yeah. And when you go into retirement, I say you're off to the pasture, folks. You're off to pasture.
And I consider work the opportunity for you to share your genius.
Right.
That's work. So whatever you're doing to share your genius, that should light you up. That should fulfill you. And you should have more energy in your 80s than you did in your 50s if you weren't giving away and giving your genius.
And folks, going back into Fridays, I always say every day is Friday because I work a business. I have to work every single day. And so you have to, sometimes reframe your mindsets when you have to work every day and just tell yourself, today's Friday. I get to live my dream. I can do anything I want. I'm in control of my time. I get to interview Thor, baby. I'm interviewing Thor right now. The point is you are in control. And so just never forget however you need to reframe it. But the most important thing is that you got to get it done, because tomorrow is Friday, baby. And the next day is Friday for me, baby, because every day in my world is Friday. So the point is this: whatever is in your head that's holding you back from getting to your dreams, to getting your success, to getting to anything, start today with the littlest thing and then see where that thing takes you. Be consistent though. Don't take a day off. Do you have a routine when you start your day? Is there something you do to get your day going?
Yeah, so I have an hour routine in the morning. It starts off just with 5 minutes, just solemn kind of meditation, stretching. Then I've got some exercises for a shoulder issue that I work on. I review the goals for the year, but goals for the quarter. I look at my calendar. I've already set my calendar the night before, but I'll quickly look over incoming emails to make sure that no appointments or anything have changed. Update that, and then get my day going, man.
Get the day going. That sounds like a great way to get started. Everyone's a little bit different, but I like that. You're organizing, you're looking at everything, you're kind of seeing my annual, quarterly, daily goals, what I got, who's my appointments, what I got going here, and then get the mind right too. If you could sit down tonight to a steak dinner with anyone in the world, who would it be?
Jesus.
And they're coming to you.
Yeah. I'm not a religious man, but I think that would be pretty cool.
That would be amazing. Unbelievable. And I honestly think of it quite often when I think about Jesus, is that the humility, although that obviously there's lots of different skeptics about the Bible and things like that. I believe in all religion, and I believe in all humans, and that we're all connected in a way, and that we shouldn't judge each other for religion. I'll tell you that. That's one of my biggest beefs with religion. Is that people are like, I hate this Buddhist. I'm like, dude, we're all on the same thing here, man. But Jesus, the best one I love is that he is humility, and there's a lot of humility that comes. I'm sure that there was books that weren't included in the Bible and all those things you hear, but he probably wasn't as perfect as it sounded or felt. But the humility that one man had, and then also just think about this, folks. Imagine that you had that same story that was told about you thousands of years from today. Like, think about that. Like, you could be Jesus. Just fascinating thought when you really kind of break it out. Maybe you're not Jesus to the world. Maybe you're Jesus to your family. Maybe you're Jesus to your daughter, your granddaughter, etc. There's just different ways to look at it, right? But I love your energy, Thor. I'm just so excited about this topic. I think more and more businesses need to figure out ways to find profit. Like we talked about the pot, look at the profit, look at your ownership cut, your wage, your distribution, how you getting paid in taxes. I love talking about cash flow and looking at that financial statement, folks. And bottom line is, we're not through this. So be wary, folks. Keep that cash in line. Keep the profits online. Thor, if you could give our listeners one last real talk thought, what would that be?
I'll go back to those micro commitments. Man, just don't try to make them too big. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Make them small. Everything done. Small things done every single day create extraordinary results in a very short period of time. 1% doubled every single day is some ridiculous number by the end of the month. It's like a penny doubled every day.
Oh yeah, the penny one. Oh, that's a crazy one. I'm like, oh my God, that's the craziest one.
Be consistent. Be consistent and just chunk it down. Little teeny things. Builds momentum.
That's momentum, baby. And where's the best place for people to find you? Learn more about the business.
Easiest way to get me is Thor Conklin. I'm fortunate to have a unique name. So whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, website, you put in Thor Conklin, I am fortunate enough to have the first 20 pages of Google locked down.
That's amazing. You're not talking to Paul Smith here. You're talking to Thor Conklin.
Yeah. Well, page 21's my arrest record, so I try to keep that one buried.
We'll keep that one buried on the SEO, folks. Well, I just want to say I can see your business continually growing, and as more and more entrepreneurs are needing help finding profit, I hope anyone that's listening today that is serious about their business and needs a coach to help them really find this, check my man out. We'll put that in the show notes. Folks, you've been hanging out with Thor Conklin and Travis Too Tall and Huff. We want to thank you again for your time today, and let's keep being real. What another epic episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening today. We're all going through a lot right now. And real-time outsource, my business, is giving back to local and small businesses. Through our social media services and campaigns, we are actually helping small businesses get more exposure during these times, and also when we get through these times. At the end of the day, we don't know how long this is all going to last, but most importantly, you got to think about your business right now. Take it seriously. So come check us out at realtimeoutsource.com, and we would love for you to qualify and get the process started where we can take a look at your business and see if we can qualify you for some of our services. At little to no cost for most of the businesses, and some businesses, you're gonna have to pay, but that's just part of life, right? But most importantly is that I think this is the time, folks, that you can actually help thrive in your business. And so I would love to help you personally with our team. We're all going through a tough time right now, so take advantage of us. realtimeoutsource.com. Check us out, and we would love to do some business with you and help you with your social and digital media in 2020 and beyond.